So today is January 22nd. We're being recorded by Area 58. This is the Halifax Finance Committee. On the agenda tonight is mail, reserve fund / light item transfers, meeting minutes December 11th, 2017, budget discussion, schedule for department heads, revenue discussion, public participation, and adjournment. And so we should have gotten some mail, ethics forms to everyone individually. We received a copy of the spreadsheet from Sandy. We all have our individual folders. That was very nice. We got the update from Sandy on the handout. Do we have any other mail?
Yes. I have just, excuse me, the top email. For some reason it wouldn't print just a single email.
Okay. This is from Charlie to Kendra, RE, Town of Halifax, electricity contract for the town. Folks, I've received the electric bill for the town hall for the last month, and it does not appear that the switch over to NG occurred. The town was billed at 16 cents per kilowatt. I'm checking on what happened and what needs to occur to rectify this problem. I don't plan on immediately making a payment on this bill, which is due March. Due date is in March. Thanks, Charlie. Okay.
All right, and I have just this notice that came in. And that's it.
Okay. From Jerry Elliott, Director of Building Maintenance, to the Selectmen, Town Administrator, Department Heads, Department Staff, other boards and committees. RE, Director of Building Maintenance, Change of Personnel. A good day, everyone. I will be introducing Mr. Scott Materna to you over the next week. Scott is stepping into my position as Director of Building Maintenance for the town. He will assist me over the next couple of weeks in getting to know the town buildings. As with any new job, it will take time for him to fully comprehend the new position and the many aspects of the job. Scott brings an enormous amount of talent and experience in many areas. He will be an asset to both this department and the town for many years, I believe. Please welcome and support him as much as you have done for me in this department. I have enjoyed my time working for the Municipal and School Building Committee, this town, and the people that I've come to work with and know. Respectfully, Jerry Elliott, Director of Building Maintenance. Does anybody want to know when his last date is?
I think it's
February 1st?
Yeah.
Kendra, would you mind drafting a letter to say thank you to Jerry for all the time that he's given to the town?
Okay.
And especially for always having answers for us. Thank you.
I will have it for you. Is next week too late to sign?
No, next week should be okay for everyone, right? Okay. No reserve or line item transfers.
Yep.
Okay. So, meeting minutes, December 11th. This was the all-time quick meeting.
Right?
So, at the Monday, December 11th, 2017 meeting, myself, Mel, Diane, Melinda, and Bill were present. Has everyone had a chance to review?
I have.
I have.
Is there a motion to approve as printed?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
See, right, this is when I wasn't here.
Yeah, I still think you can sign it if you want. Okay, budget discussion. So,
Thank you.
so the largest item besides the elementary school is Silver Lake, and Silver Lake is looking at $1 million increase in the operating budget at this point in time, which would be anywhere from $250,000 to $400,000 on the assessment.
And that's with the population decrease.
So our population, I believe, dropped a little bit.
Yeah.
We were like a 0.1% difference, but I think with the rounding and the difference with Kingston, our percentage basically stays the same. Plimpton actually goes up a full percentage point. So Kingston's drops, maybe ours drops a little, but Plimpton goes up because they have an additional 10 students in the Silver Lake district. Our percentage of the Union 31 actually went up a little bit, so we have more kids in the elementary school comparatively this fiscal year. So we are looking at, for their just, I don't see anything more than $20 to $25 per student, unless anything was announced at the MMA meeting that I was not aware of.
Well, the budget's actually out this week.
Yeah. From the people at the State House I know, who would expect no more than $25 per student. So on 2,000 students, that's like not very much when we talk about our total town assessment. So when we look at the numbers compared to last year, the biggest difference on the back page is Silver Lake not being included versus some other line items that Sandy's got highlighted that aren't in there. But the largest one is Silver Lake.
Where are you seeing $1 million increase?
On the total for Silver Lake, not for our assessment. So our number here is the assessment. So that is a formula, basically their Silver Lake's total cost plus some shared cost, minus all of the financial aid. And then you take that total and we get the assessment number based off enrollment.
Okay.
So their total number is going to go up. The projected number is $1 million. I don't think that that's sustainable. Again, we can talk about that a million times till I'm blue in the face, and I probably will.
That's in the operating cost is going up $1 million.
Yeah. Well, when you look at their contracts, it's $600,000 for just their salary line item.
And their total operating budget's still like 21, 22 million, right?
23-ish.
Yeah, so I mean, it's about 5%.
Yeah.
So it's grown at twice inflation.
So I would just make everyone aware of that while we're looking at this budget.
Is there any sense that this is a hard line, or is this their preliminary budget, and are they willing to?
They will be
Come
presenting
back.
a round 2 budget with at their February 8th meeting, which will start at 6 p.m. Charlie, I don't know if you were aware of
I
that.
heard you talking to Kim.
So that's going to be 6 p.m. and they're going to have their budget hearing at that meeting, and then there'll be no more public discussion about the budget, I was told.
Really?
That's what I was told.
Okay, so, is it at the high school or the middle school?
I don't know. I will have to double check.
And my other question, if you don't mind, is Sue Allsop still on the?
She is not.
She's not?
She is not.
Resigned?
I think her term was up. I do have an email. I don't know if I CC'd you on the email or not. I have an email to their new chairman and to Kingston's chair
Oh,
to see if we can pick a date after February. And I was going to ask, are there any nights that people are not available if we can't do a Monday night?
I teach on Tuesday nights.
So Tuesday nights are out. Is there another night that's generally out?
Wednesday nights, wage and personnel.
Wednesday nights, okay.
February, I'm MIA from the 15th to the 19th.
Anyone else?
I'm unpredictable about the 5th. I know I can't make.
Is that our meeting night? The 5th?
I presume it is.
Okay.
It's Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about the 12th if we invited them to come here if that's Monday night? Because that would give us some data on what the budget from the governor looks like and what Silver Lake is looking. Yeah, so the 12th. Would the 12th work to invite them to come here?
Gordon, can I just ask you, who told you that they wouldn't have any further discussion after the hearing?
I was told that that was what was said at the meeting,
Oh, okay.
at the January meeting. I have not replayed that part of the
Oh, okay.
meeting yet, but I have watched the other ones on YouTube.
The 12th is fine for me.
So I can do the 12th as well, but it's Lincoln's birthday. Does that matter?
Is it a holiday?
Is it a
Yeah, it's a
holiday?
holiday.
Not the next
President's
Monday is
Day
a
is a
holiday.
President's Day is?
We can have a cake for Lincoln though.
I want to say yeah, but that week's gonna be tough for me. As long as everything's fine, I'm getting married that week.
You're getting married that week?
Oh, yes, of course you want to come to a finance meeting.
Come on. As long as everything's done, I should be available. Everyone's laughing, so that's not a good sign.
Wait until that seating chart comes up with all the family members.
I'm already
Well,
done.
I was gonna say, if they don't have seating charts done by now, they're in trouble.
Okay, so I will reach out to Plimpton and Kingston, and I'll CC Kendra, so if I don't hear back, she can remind them. So the other large increases that I'm aware of would be the school, line 71 is 187,000, and the special needs tuition is 191,000. So, and then vocational education, they're budgeting an additional person. So there's $400,000 right now. So your Prop 2.5 is spent on the elementary school if that's the budget that goes through. So So basically, we will be in the predicament that we were in the previous year, not last year so much as the year before that, where the schools will dictate what we plan to do. I know we have room in excess capacity. We do have an agreement that probably will need to be discussed with the selectmen on that. So, I mean, you could spend to the max, you'd be looking at a 5% plus increase on the tax bills, and then you'll see the increase from the debt exclusion the following year. So,
And so you've already done the placeholder. Remember we talked about having a placeholder for the potential debt payment that we will have on the senior center?
yep,
So you've taken that into consideration with the levy. So we'd have, what, 100 and, we decided we were gonna take that payment, what did we say that payment was? I'm having a read.
Whatever the was.
Yeah, whatever that was.
yeah, we said we were gonna try to put that in the levy.
Yeah, we are. We have to. We absolutely have to.
Is anybody else able to make it on the 8th to the public hearing?
I believe I have a conflict.
Where is it?
It'll be either at the elementary school, the elementary school, at the junior high or the high school. I will send out, I don't know if it's posted yet.
I might be able to. Thursday.
It's a Thursday night. It's posted.
You said 6 p.m.?
6 p.m. is... Well, the way it's posted, it says the union meeting will be at 5.
Oh, the Union 31, because they'll be voting.
Because they have to do the shared cost at
Yeah,
that meeting,
they'll be
right?
doing shared costs. All right, so 5 o'clock.
So 5 o'clock. So shared cost discussion, discussion on vote of contracts for the administrator of special education, the superintendent. And then says the Silver Lake meeting, it's listed at 7, but I was told it was 6. And it's posted, so just on our website, it says 7, but when you open up their filing, it says 6 p.m., so.
And where is it, Corinne?
High school.
High school, thank you.
6 o'clock
That's 7, yeah, 6 o'clock, yep,
on the 12th.
The 8th.
on the
The
8th.
8th.
It says the public budget hearing starts at 7 p.m., but I'll reach out to Joy and see if that's correct or not. I was told to be there at 6, so. And I'll send out a link to the last meeting.
So you're looking at Sandy's budget sheet, right?
Yep.
And so you put in Silver Lake, the potential, like.
No.
No,
No,
I put nothing in the Silver Lake.
Okay. I was just curious, like, and we already have a placeholder on your formula for the debt payment for the senior center? Okay. Can we add that line item, so we take it out? So then we really know what we're looking at, because we are gonna have that payment, not this fiscal year, but.
Sandy,
the
with-
10 like we do.
that's not listed under debt service?
It's not there yet.
Okay.
Because this is, no, we are making the payment expected, there's no line item.
would we expect to have a debt payment for FY19?
No, well, unlikely. Depends on timing.
Okay.
Um,
We should have a debt payment for the school though, right?
Yeah.
For the, yeah.
So Sandy, would,
For general liability insurance, I'll take their budget, I'll take our budget, prorated on that.
Would this be something that Keith would be aware of, or is this more?
Well, Keith's one submitted the budget, so I'm,
No, there's definitely an error in that. We had given them advice to put up the health insurance by 10%. But because that.
So you might have transposed the 6 and 8.
I'm gonna redo that.
yeah, that would make
That'd be
more
about
sense.
10%, yeah.
Instead of by the, yeah.
Phil, have you had a chance to talk to Highway at all?
This today I did.
Okay. Because I noticed like the wages in Highway and Cemetery are way up.
Right.
Now, I know you had mentioned something earlier, and I didn't quite catch it all, that is Steve looking to expand the department, or?
I put in the higher figure. They've submitted 2 budgets for both their highway wages and their cemetery wages. One with level service, and then one increasing the part-time cemetery person to a full-time person year-round, and then adding a highway worker. They have a new stormwater management requirement. It's a mandate, it's something they have to start doing. And he would like to add a person, and I'm sure he'll be able to come in and speak to it.
And that was the line 91 edit to 110,000.
Right.
That-
It was 101,
101,000.
101, 110.
Okay. Okay. Who's got public works solid waste?
That would be me.
You have a $26,000 decrease in trash collection / disposal.
couple things, we're in our lab, again, whether it's Susan or Steve who will come in to talk with you about that. We're in the last year of our tipping contract with CMAS. What Susan has proposed, and I agree with, is that because is to move for 1 year, we'll piggyback on to Holland's tipping fee level with CMAS, which is less for the tipping fee we're paying. So on a per ton basis. So I suspect that's what you're seeing in terms of the decrease.
Okay. Do you think that we would continue with,
I think long-term, we'll see it less than we're paying now.
okay,
So it's not going to be a 1 year and then
It's not like
gonna
a blip
shoot
up.
back up again. Yeah, what's happened is there's some competition on tipping fees. What I've talked to Susan about is, I understand the simplicity, what she wants to do is go out, the next time we go out to bid is for both, in the sense of, she wants to get 2 proposers from haulers, one with their tipping fees, one without, which would still leave us the possibility of signing our own contract with whatever facility on a long-term basis.
okay. That makes sense. Large increase on cable television. That's the pass-through, I'm assuming, still?
Right. I just put it up because it looks like we're going to exceed it this year,
Okay,
but it's money that comes in and goes out.
goes out, so. Um,
I know it's not high, but Kendra and I spoke about increasing your expense budget to $500 from $359 because there has been more interest in classes and people attending conferences. I thought it would be smart of you to put a little bit more in your budget.
okay,
And I didn't, your wage budget will stay the same. I didn't fill that in. I'll get that filled in.
okay. Is there a motion to make our budget 500 for the upcoming fiscal year?
I'll move 500.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. And then level funded, or should it be, are you at the highest step for us? So level fund that number and then change it to whatever the annual changes? Okay, is there a motion for $5,165?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. 6.5. So with the items that we're missing so far, on the first page is about 95,000. The elementary, so it's 95K. What else are we missing in this that we didn't list? So at least level funded Silver Lake at 420,000. 4,280,000. Big difference there. What was the other lines that were big? So
Insurance.
195 for veterans. That was missing.
Insurance of 265.
Insurance at 265. So just roughly 4280123.
And for the rec is another 53,000.
I was gonna say collectively, it's a lot.
How much was that?
53,000. I got it on tally on here.
So that, yeah. 95 plus.
Sure you said veterans benefits, right?
Yep. I got 4.8 million. Oh, 4.9 million.
4.9 million difference. Yeah. So if we add that,
We're 800,000 in the red. Including that.
only? I love it each year when we start off the year and say, oh, we're going to have a good year this year. And then immediately those are the years that are not. It is, isn't it? The years that we think we're gonna be okay are the years that end up you're not. And the years you think are gonna be bad, everyone's budget seems to fall in line.
Yeah, we thought Silver Lake would be not so bad this year.
So,
I think we should just stop thinking that.
and that's with level funding Silver Lake, so if it's up,
Another 400,000. It would be a 10% increase.
um,
And the elementary school is confident with that number?
so there's
That's
some,
their first.
that's their first budget,
Right.
but the out-of-district sped, it's tough to argue that.
Yeah, that will.
And that's driving. So,
It's tough to argue that because if there's one student that either comes in or goes out, that number's off by $100,000. So and this doesn't have in there the other items that we talked about.
The other items.
correct.
Does anybody have the paperwork, what we said for the... Do we know what with excess capacity was? I'm drawing a blank off my head.
Was it like 165,000?
I thought it was a little bit more than
Yeah,
that.
it's more than that. 'Cause we,
Wasn't it like 400? Somewhere around 400,000? Because we didn't spend...
Oh, wait. You want to bring up the tax recount? Can you get it on the state site?
yeah, I just didn't need to find the right form on it.
Okay.
I think it's the area.
That's our turkey.
Was the only guy here with a laptop, bro.
I'll call someone. No, you don't have to watch me do this.
All right, so we have,
I'm watching someone play a video game.
you can make a lot of money doing that if you get a lot of followers.
Yeah, they knew what I was doing.
Even if you don't know what you're doing. So we have Prop 2.5, which was right around 400,000. We have excess capacity. Charlie's gonna give us that number. Is there, do we have an estimate for new growth at this point? No?
There wasn't very much.
It wasn't great,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
And then we have free cash, which, no, we should never
That's good,
eat.
but we need, but
Right,
we
right.
have pretty,
So
we've got to address some things at the highway department.
It was 600,000.
600,000 in excess?
So how much?
600,000.
Oh, wow.
So out of that, we were saying, how much, what was the number we estimated for
The senior,
fire suppression and senior?
senior was like 120 a year.
It's like 194.
Well, let's see, the two of them together are roughly $3 million right now. We're talking 20 years, so that's 150.
So
And
200,000?
then we were talking 4%. So.
194
120,
is a
so
number that
just
sticks in
under-
my head.
270?
Well, again, walking through, it's $3 million in principal,
Okay,
divided by 20 years at 150,000 per.
okay.
We're assuming a 4% interest rate at $3 million, so that's 120. So 120, 150 is 270.
Okay. So 270, it's 330 plus 400. So if we look to keep that number inside, and you have $400,000 already eaten up by the elementary school in special needs, we have $330,000 left.
I'll just tell everybody no.
Well, our board's pretty good at that.
Well, I mean, seriously, I'm not saying that we're there yet, but if it comes down to it, and special ed soaks up the levy,
We don't have a choice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful.
I mean, I would say, in a sense, we could be saying the same thing at Silver Lake, in the sense of whatever sped increase we're responsible for, then we'll assume that that'll be it.
Well, Silver Lake's gonna eat up that number right there.
More than likely.
Because, I mean, 600,000, well, 34% of that, that's just salaries, that's negotiated salaries, that's...
Well, I'm not even talking about the salaries, I'm just talking about
Yeah.
special ed.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking from their operating budget.
Oh, yeah, no.
We're on the hook contractually
Well,
for an additional
We're
200,000.
only on the hook if we say we're on the hook.
Right.
Special ed, to Charlie's point, we have no say over that
Right.
number.
Right, I mean, and they're stuck with it too. So we say, fine, whatever the increase in special ed at Silver Lake is, we're fine. We understand you're obligated, we're obligated, fine. But you made the decisions about what contracts you're signing. It's your job to make everything fit within what we can afford.
I also think, if I could say, that a nice idea is to invite the Silver Lake representatives right away. To say, wow, we saw your budget and we have some questions. I know I wasn't able to make the January meeting, we weren't able to make it, but
So does it make sense to invite them before their public hearing, or is it because they haven't presented any revenue numbers?
I think it should be before, because if you're hearing there's not gonna be a lot of discussion after the hearing, then you kind of lose that time to have them voice what their town representatives are saying.
Okay. Do you want to invite them in, Kendra, for the meeting before their public hearing?
So their
So the
public hearing is
5th.
the
So the
6th.
5th.
So the 5th.
Yeah, that way you can come, you can have them here and have a real conversation about what we're looking at the levy, because they may not be aware of, where we stand financially, and then they can really speak to representing our town at their hearing on the 8th, based on the information that you guys share with them.
Yeah, but I would, Gordon and I may be laughing at the same thing, I don't know. But my feeling is that the town representatives, and this isn't, I'm not putting down our Silver Lake people, but I think we're the ones that are gonna have to go to that public hearing and say, this is where Halifax is. It isn't, and
Maybe you're right, Charlie, but I think that we give them the opportunity, because they
Yeah,
may
no,
not know,
yeah, absolutely.
and it's our job to
Yeah.
let them know.
Yeah, well, absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
We're
that,
gonna be whining, I know. I've got the script ready for the 8th.
Well, I mean, we are making massive investment into the elementary school, into the senior center, items that have not been done in years.
well, and
We
also-
have to take care of that.
And also, we've started funding Silver Lake Capital. They want to go back and use their E&D account again for 3 or 4 projects that I guess are significant enough they need to hit the E&D for outside their operating budget. So,
Yeah, I saw that, one of them was the lights, which I thought we had already addressed on Saratoga Field.
No,
No, they scrapped that a couple of years ago. They had it on their wish list, I think 2 years ago
Okay,
when we had the same fight 2 years ago.
okay, all right, thank you for reminding me. Okay, so,
2 years
Yeah, I
ago,
mean-
so that had to be done.
yeah, I mean, the superintendent, she did have a lot of explanation here, and the packet, but the bottom line is there's only so much money, and there are other things that we are obligated to do. And we're not saying that what they need isn't important, but we committed to the town meeting, the senior center within the levy, and we cannot change that.
So-
And people aren't gonna fight.
so, guess I'm just looking for, what should we, so we'll talk about our revenue numbers. Sandy, when you have a chance, can you send the electronic sheet that's got all the tabs in it?
I sent it to you today,
Okay,
all right? But I will have it all updated for next week.
okay. So we need to talk about at the next meeting, I would just agenda item revenue. Because we're talking about it now, but we need to have a better understanding of what we are looking at for revenue, what our commitments are that we've made to town meeting. what our estimate for that cost is. So the 270 is, we can break that out. And I guess, once Sandy says the updated with the debt numbers, then I'll go through, I'll grab the highest percent increase changes, ones that are requested, like the additional service at the water department and highway, and then what level funded, not level funded, but level service items, and where the biggest increases are. And I think at that point, then we schedule department heads. I mean, the school, we might as well invite both elementary school and Silver Lake to come in the same night.
I'd like to try and get Jerry in next week if possible, where he'll be transitioning in a new employee. I think it might help.
You want
Yeah.
Jerry and Scott?
Yeah, if we can get Jerry and Scott in next week before Jerry leaves, it might help with the discussion a little bit.
Okay.
Who else?
I mean, at some point, I would have liked to just talk to wage and personnel about the plan, you know?
That's out the window now.
No, it's not. It's not true.
Is that plan included in this budget?
No.
Do we have
Just
it?
like 2% or 1% or whatever.
Do we have an estimate on what, just a rough number? Are we talking 50,000? Are we talking
Not off the top of my
100,000?
head, Gordon. I don't, and it's basically, it's still in the works. We're still,
Do we know
The
roughly?
first numbers were around 60,000, a little bit more, the first numbers.
Okay. Do we know what the rough number is for 2%? Is
Or
it?
union and non-union
Yeah.
is closing in on 100, right?
yeah, I think so.
So 2% is about 100K. Yeah, just roughly, so when we're looking at this, that's something that we need to
Yeah.
include. 'Cause
Yeah,
we need to
we
be
need-
cognizant of everything, because
Yeah.
there's some aspects of our budget, like the schools, that have their contracts included in there. So we have to make sure that we are cognizant of that fact, and our decisions are based off of employees as well.
Lightsaber, anyone?
Those are the gummy bears that they're making down on River Street?
Sugar-free, like, anybody want? Maybe in another week I'll be rid of those. Anybody know?
Well, thank you. Are there any other major numbers that you guys can think of?
Sandy?
I mean,
No,
you have a running list. Are there any other items that, things that we haven't talked about tonight?
I will.
I don't think there's anything big ticket we haven't talked about. I think we've got all the big ticket. I mean, we cut and cut and cut, but I mean, we really gotta focus on these big numbers now, because they're what's driving the budget.
What's the... Okay,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
I ask who you would like in particular invited to the elementary and Silver Lake meeting so that we don't get offended people.
I would invite the committees.
Just want committees? Okay.
You can,
Do you want to go as far as superintendent?
yeah,
I
I would
think we
invite the
should.
superintendent,
Yeah.
but I'd point out that if we have them in on the 5th, that's gonna be the same night as their meeting night. So whether or not
Oh, right.
we go as a group over to them or ask them to come to us, I don't really care either way. I would just,
Yeah, I almost think it'd be better if you have them here. Only because it's easy to talk about the whole town, because that's, your role is to manage the finances of the town, and so whenever we go over there, it's not as
well, can you ask
simple dialogue, you know what I mean? It's
to
not-
to schedule them for that night and ask them if they'd come here? Maybe 8 o'clock, or we could, does 6:30 or 6 o'clock not work for anyone here if we have to change?
No, that works for
Because
me.
if you go over there, then Silver Lake's over there, and it just, it mixes.
The 5th, right?
Yeah, you're out.
I'm here, so I'm good. 6:30.
You're maybe. I know.
Try like hell.
How about you meet with them at 6? How about you meet with them at 6?
Well, if you can schedule something that works, then we can try to rearrange our schedule.
But I think it is important that we at least invite Joy, so she doesn't feel like we're having
Right.
secret meetings behind her back, sabotaging her budget.
Right. I just didn't know how far you wanted me to go. Do you want me to include principals, maybe?
I think the superintendent and the business director and the committee members. If
The
anybody,
principals attend the meeting, I don't see, I mean, it's only King, right, for that.
yeah, if they want to come,
Yeah.
sure, but
Okay.
it's not really. I don't think we should be dictating what they do with their budget. That's the discussion when they have their public hearing.
Yeah.
Just more of, this is where we are, you need to be aware of it, and we're probably not gonna be able to support everything that you want in the budget. So be aware of that before you go vote on it. And
Yeah, and I also think, you know, there have been some committee members that have come to finance committee meetings, they try, and I think that's important. You know, because this is where the whole picture is discussed, not just specifically the education.
Right.
And I think it's important for them to come here and hear us how we try to balance the budget and, you know, things that we face instead of being the mean people that walk into the school and say no. I just think it's just,
what are you looking at me
But that's
for,
so
Kim?
much fun.
no, it's not. It ain't.
I'm kidding.
You know, Mel, I've always said, I hate playing that skit, you must pay the rent, but I can't pay the rent. I mean, it just gets old, doesn't it? Remember that? You must pay the rent, but I can't pay the rent. Oh, pay the rent. But there's nobody ever coming saying that they'll pay the rent.
I have to go over to a party store or whatever, and we'll get you a Twirly mustache.
Maybe I could do that on my own job.
Kim likes the party store.
I love the party store.
I know. Stay up. Parties.
So police and fire, are they in contract negotiations now?
We're doing wage reopeners with both of them.
For this fiscal year
For
that we're in?
Fiscal 19.
Yeah,
Okay.
Everybody's a wage reopener for fiscal 19.
yeah.
And that's good, they all get to share in the misery that the rest of us will. Just real quick, the police chief salary is a 14% increase. Is that a payout for retirement?
Yeah, well, it's vacation. It's, right?
Yeah, because he is planning on retiring in FY19, and we will have to pay him his vacation time.
Maybe we can pay him an extra $500 to stay on for another year. Push out that expense.
Kick back in, is that it?
I'd pay $500 for the $14,000 can.
Yeah, well, the problem is, it's a $15,000 can.
Well, if you can't pay it this year, it doesn't really matter what it costs the next year. Is fire submitted?
Yes. I know, I double checked it. I said, oh shit, did I not put in the new numbers? They level funded everything. Of course, we lost several firefighters to Pembroke, therefore we have a very young force. Therefore, they were able to level fund their wages.
Okay. Where's the line for the one person that we had left at
Just-
9
Yeah, it's gone.
Go on.
It's because that person left. It's the year we're in now, so she's gone as of
So
August.
68, 69, 70,
60.
all we have left is 69, which is dispatch services.
Okay, so that's the $15,000
Right.
drop. And their cost went down too?
Yep.
We good?
Well, yeah, what happened is that basically we overfunded for the year we're in now.
Okay.
I talked to Chief Nord, he said that the actual number that we paid them would be, it's the same, it won't change at all. And what we did was we had, we had Murphy money and also money in case we needed to make changes down at the station.
Okay.
I've left some, but not all that money in there. That's why I reduced that line item from the year we're in now to next year. So it's to pay them to Duxbury, but also there's still money in case
Something
something
happens.
comes up and we need to make some, technological changes over at the station. Because if I don't have money in there for that, there is no place for me to do this.
Gotcha. Okay. Anyone else have anything?
I do not.
So we have next week Jerry and Scott. You want to ask the fire chief to come in? Because this budget be pretty quick because the
Yeah,
level
'cause
funded.
He's going away to Palm.
Okay.
His capital plan budget, we met with him earlier, it was a little on the heavier side.
Right.
Okay. Meeting wise for capital plan, I know we had talked about meeting them once a month. When would capital plan members like to meet in February?
The 5th, you want to meet after the school leaves? Or will we have time?
No,
No,
Bill's
let's
not
do
going to be
that.
here on the 5th.
Yeah, let's wait.
Yeah, because we're not meeting till, we're meeting.
Yeah, let's do it on,
So the last,
The 19th?
no, that's President's. So the last Monday in March?
Yeah, February.
February?
yeah, which is the 24th.
Yeah.
Sorry, the 28th.
And have you guys right away at 7:05? Okay.
What day was that?
The 28th.
Does, who else? I mean, the highway surveyor and cemetery, his requested needs will really need to be dealt with after the school, I would
I
say.
agree.
So either probably the 28th
Okay.
or first 2 weeks of March.
All right, you want to wait a little bit and see?
I mean, basically, we're gonna have an idea what's going on after Silver Lake meets, because we'll either be at the point where we just straight out don't support their budget and we tell them the number we can support. Because if that's the case, we need to go through and prioritize all the departments and all the requests. So we would have to give them that number by their March meeting. So I would think if we have him in on the 28th or we have him in the first week of March. Because,
So the 28th of February is a Wednesday?
all right, so the 26th then.
Get that, Ken?
What is it?
So
26th for the capital plan with the finance committee?
Oh, the 26th.
Yeah, that's the Monday.
I was going to say, so why are we meeting with capital plan?
Oh, I put the 28th. Thank you.
So
So do you want to try and meet with Steve?
either the 28th or the first week in March. Well, I mean, how much capital planning items does Steve have? Does he have a lot?
Yeah.
So I guess to have him here for that meeting would work out great,
Yeah.
because you guys are gonna give us an update and he can let us know where he stands on those items too. I mean, we don't have to make a decision on the capital plan, but at least he'll be able to talk to us as a group on what he has for issues on those.
That'll give the capital planning to score
what he's asking for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be looking, whatever he's asking for, at least he'll be able to include us on the data of the, you guys still need to make your own decision. Are there any other departments that water is a separate, so I would say maybe this second or third meeting in March for water.
I think we can get police in right away because there's nothing in their budget that's changed other than wages.
So
It's
do
not
you-
contract, so.
So do you want to schedule police as a, well, how about their capital plan? Is there much on them, police was? Cruises and typical stuff, bulletproof vests. So I guess leave that up to Kendra to try to squeeze them in there, police. I don't know if they have to be here for,
Well,
Cru-
Chief said,
cruises
say
and-
me, you tell me, so.
dealer's choice. You're the dealer. Whichever night you think will fit. I mean, the fire chief shouldn't be that long. The
But he's next week with Jerry and Scott, so
and Hayward.
next week,
No, next week's the 29th, the following.
Oh, okay.
you got a whole month
Okay.
before you see Steve.
Oh, end of February. Yeah, I was thinking next week.
Oh, yeah, this is only January,
Yeah.
Thank God.
right?
So I guess whenever you can, whenever works for. Usually we have both here the same night. So
Yeah.
if you can get them both to come in, sounds like the fire chief should be pretty quick. Police
Yeah, I
chief's
think-
gonna be pretty quick.
I think we'll do them both next week. I don't think there's anything in this budget that's.
Sealer of weights and measures. Do
There's a
we?
new,
We do.
there's a new one, Mr. Wolford retired.
Who was
We
it?
should have this budget in this week. I called him, he said, oh, yeah, I never even thought of that. So if you could come in and see me.
Okay.
All right, Steve.
Oh, I got youth and rec. That makes sense because they're just in the budget.
Yeah, use the rest budget's for it.
And then the school is on 5th.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, we can't vote any lines, even level funded lines, until we figure out what's going on in schools.
Right. And what did we have for 12?
No,
We had something.
Tri-Town,
We're gonna try to meet.
invitation for Tri-Town.
Okay.
Does that cover everything that anyone else can think of? And those are the largest items.
And the 19th, we're up.
Yeah.
Holiday, correct.
When should we schedule wage and personnel? March?
Probably March,
Okay.
because we're gonna work closely with Sandy the next couple meetings.
When is your open town meeting?
We already had it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from anyone?
Nope.
Anyone have anything to say?
I think Diane has inherited that, hasn't she?
What's that?
Stu's motion?
Oh, to adjourn, yes.
Oh.
Hold on. For
Right.
next meeting,
Mm-hmm.
you want to mention revenue?
Jerry.
I know, but on the agenda,
Yeah, revenue. Our discussion on revenue in the town.
and that's it? Besides our regular stuff and our
And budget
meetings.
discussion and,
Yeah, besides our regular stuff and
Yeah.
meetings.
I
Okay,
mean, we need to talk about revenue next.
okay, I just want to be sure.
Anyone else have anything else for the agenda?
I'm not here next week,
Okay,
so I'm just saying for like a quorum things.
Yep.
okay.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn,
I will second.
8:20.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
To adjourn carries.